Welcome, YouTube family, and welcome to another show, The Kevin Strong Show. And in this video, we're going to talk about UBI. No, I'm not talking about something you do, when you get something because you didn't take protection. This is Universal Basic Income, UBI. Big hot topic. A lot of states are starting to roll out test programs across the country. So we're going to examine and talk about an article that lists the pros as well as the cons regarding UBI, and I'm going to give you my thoughts at the end of the article. But first of all, if you're new to my show, welcome. Start off by subscribing, smashing that like button, hit the bell notification so you are notified when I do release my video, which is typically once a week. So as I stated, this is a very, very hot topic, so let's jump right into it and let us discuss the article. Okay, here. If you guys could read them, see if I can blow it up a little bit bigger. All right. Okay. Pros and cons of Universal Basic Income, UBI. Have you ever wished you could afford to quit your job? So you already know this thing is leaning to the left. Maybe you would love the opportunity to go back to college, start a business, take a few years off to raise your children, or maybe you would just like a different job, perhaps earning less, but enjoying the work much more. Several American politicians and tech billionaires would like to help you. They want to help you achieve those dreams. They're proposing a new type of benefit called Universal Basic Income, which would give every American adult a monthly cash payment with no strings attached. There's no qualifications, just free money. Is universal basic income just a pipe dream or just an idea that could benefit everyone in the country? So once again, we're going to talk about this in detail. So now they're going to list some of the positives. Once again, like I said, clearly this article is set up to lean to the left. About free choice and let me help you do what you want to do without any consequences. Now, that's my editorial part of it, but I'll let you draw your own conclusion. The first positive thing this article is pointing out, it says that it's going to reduce the poverty rate. Actually, I think universal basic income, it says 1795. I think the guy who was the first guy who brought this concept out was Thomas Paine. I believe around 1795 and 1796. So that's one component. They said that it'll reduce the poverty rate, reduce income inequality, bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Universal cash payments can reduce another type of inequality, the gender wage gap. So they're addressing that because women make less than men on average. That is a whole nother different video. There is some validity to it. There's a lot of information that says that is not necessarily true. A lot of the most laborious, very hardworking blue-collar type jobs, a lot of women just aren't attracted to that line of work, and that aggregate gets kind of mixed up into this gender gap, if you will. That's just a little side note. Eliminates the need for government programs. We'll see. This includes, they're saying, Social Security, healthcare programs like Medicaid, all this other stuff. They're saying it's going to be removed as a result of this. I think once people get addicted to something like this, they're going to want more, and the things that they're already either entitled to or getting as a supplemental benefit, it's going to be even harder to take those programs away because you are creating a codependent mentality. And I think we're already there as a nation. Improves physical and mental health, better nutrition, fewer hospitalization, lower rates of stress. I don't buy that at all. I'll tell you at the end of the video why. Makes higher education more accessible. So now they're saying that, hey, you're going to get an opportunity to maybe do some things because you have a little bit more money. That's bullshit. Let me tell you, homie, I haven't done the research yet, but I guarantee you the average tuition increase in aggregate is going up at a far rapid rate than inflation and a far, far, far rapid rate than the average wage per year. So a supplemental UBI monthly stipend of $500-$600 a month is not going to keep up with the astronomical rising cost of higher education. They included it's going to, they're saying now here in number 6, it may improve wages. In relationship to your income, maybe, but in an aggregate level, I don't think it's going to do much. I really don't think it's going to do much. It may help with some basic necessities, obviously, but in terms of a significant quality of life improvement, I don't see that. And last but not least, they're talking about, not last, but they're saying supports caregivers, gives domestic violence victims more freedom. Like, you see, where the hell are they going with this? Like, how do you create a nexus of domestic violence with UBI? I guess they're saying because, and I haven't read this part, hey, if you're a victim, a lot of times the victim of domestic violence is a woman, 100%, and they may not have the skills to work or whatever. And this is going to give them an opportunity to break away from that cycle of violence. I can tell you from firsthand experience investigating things like that. It's a very complex situation. That's more of a emotional prisoner. It's not a more so of a financial one. It's more emotional that leads to physical. Doesn't mean that the person is not a victim, but I don't think money is a good starting point to say that's the reason why. Maybe at some point, but I don't think that's the core problem of why domestic violence happens or why it reoccurs, because the woman just doesn't have enough money. But some may differ with that. Encourages entrepreneurship, protects workers from economic shock. I guess you can say, give you a little bit of a cushion, give you some flexibility so you're just not being eaten away by rising costs. So here's some of the cons. High costs. Some people think it just costs too much. There was one program that came out, said they did 4,000 people, just did not work out. Reduces the incentive to work. I'm a component of this. I think we have gotten lazy as a nation overall. We just don't want to work. I don't know why. I think since the healthcare crisis popped off in 2020, this mindset about when people were making more money unemployed than working. People went 3 years without having to pay for almost a mortgage. Not 3 years, but for some people over 2-3 years, definitely for student loans, 3.5. And now when you try to get people to go back to that same work ethic, there's a lot of pushback. Not everybody, but there's a lot of pushback saying, hell, I'm entitled to it. And if I don't find the adequate job that can pay my bills, then why should I have to pay? That mentality did not permeate throughout society until around the healthcare crisis. In 2018 and 2019, that was not the mindset of the average American. Gives extra money to those who don't need it. That's also true because, once again, it's not an income-based requirement program. So for people who don't even need it are going to get it. Diminishes self-worth. Absolutely. There's no self-actualization process when you start talking about receiving universal basic income payments. It kind of takes away your entrepreneurial spirit, your ability to believe in yourself, to get a better quality of life through hard work and sacrifice. This program, in my opinion, kind of sets up, hey, most people have to take the stairs to get to the top. They just want you to just get on this elevator and push a button, and we'll do the rest. May reduce wages. That is a big possibility because employers are going to say, hey, if you're being supplemented by the government, why do I need to pay you as much? And if I don't have to pay you as much, then let's say, for example, that $500 UBI payment you get doesn't really cash flow as well because it might become a balance out. It might just balance itself out, right? Because your employer is not paying you as much and you might lose several $100s a month in wages. And then the government kicks in the other $500. And then when you add those two together, you might just not even have a net gain. Doesn't address the root cause of poverty. I'm a big component of that. So it's a very, very, very hot topic. There's a lot of states that are rolling this out. They're rolling it out. I think somewhere in Tacoma has done one. And they were Tacoma, Washington, for those of you that are in my backyard. And what Tacoma, Washington did is that they prioritize people of color. So right after this video, I need to check my mailbox. See if I got a check coming. I'm kidding. But all jokes aside, that is true. So there's a lot of cities, a lot of the big cities across the nations are testing these programs. It looks like it's inevitable because that's where we're going as a society. Where do you fall on this topic of universal basic income. Please leave a comment below. Once again, if you enjoy my content, do me the honor by hitting that like button. That does help me out. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. And yes, I'm going to end with my famous quote. Keep your credit score up and your debt down. This was the Kevin Strong Show, and I'll see you in the next one.